I'm Roger, and doing a little bit of a review on something I bought a little over a year ago. It's a Harbor Freight chipper shredder, so it's definitely not a high-end unit, but for what we use it for in small branches and brush, it does a fine job. So do a little bit of review on this. Like I said, I've had it a little bit over a year. It's done well. I've learned a couple things with it. It says it has a maximum of 3 inches in diameter for the chipper side. Don't try to do an entire 3 inches of anything that's even remotely hard, because you will jam it and then you'll be taking all the little bolts out to unjam it. Otherwise, it's been a good unit. I'll take the camera here in a second and do a little bit of review around and show you some of the features on it. Yesterday, one of my honeydew projects was to cut down a tree that had got killed from the polar vortex that we had in January of 2019. This tree has been in place for about 25 years. It's what they call a Chinese fringe tree. It had beautiful flowers on it in the spring, but that 30 plus, I should say 30 minus below zero, did it in. It stayed that way for too long. We've got 2 of those trees. The other one's about 3/4 dead, and it's going to have to come down too. Weather's been fairly decent here. This is June 23rd, 24th. And the temperature right now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, it's only 65 degrees. The humidity's low, which is unusual for Illinois and the Midwest here, so good time to chip this up. I cut it down, one of the trees down yesterday, and I have a big pile of brush, so need to deal with it. I'm just going to let the chips fly into a pile, and then we'll scoop them up with a loader and use them for pathways or mulch or whatever. Let me grab the camera here. I'll give you a little bit of a review of the machine itself. Okay, this here's a view of the back, and of course there's nothing all that fantastic about looking at the back of something. It does have a clean out panel down there, and yes, I've had to open that up before, and it's a real pain when you have to clean out something that's jammed. Another thing I want to show you here is the wheels have brakes on them. We'll zoom in on that. And believe me, if you're on a concrete surface, you definitely want to have the brakes engaged, or this thing will walk all over the place. And from the side here, it says small brush and leaves only. Do not exceed 1/2 inch diameter. We rarely use the top hopper. I use this almost exclusively just for the chipper. Just right here, and as it shows there, it says large branches up to 3 inches diameter, but as I mentioned before, don't go that high. You'll jam it if it's very long at all. It's got a little door down here where you can raise and lower, and there's actually a bag that can hook on here if you want to bag your chips up. I'm just going to let them fly into a pile here. We'll pick them up with a loader later. The engine, 212cc Predator, starts relatively easy. One of the things that when I first got it, of course I'm not one to read directions, I couldn't figure out where the on-off switch was to actually start it. It's actually over here, kind of hidden underneath the gas tank, so you got to know it's there. It's got a gas shut off at the bottom. It's a good idea if you're going to store this to shut it off, shut the gas tank off and let the carburetor run out of gas so you don't get it gummed up or anything. And if you're going to store it very long, you probably want to drain it. It's got a little warning on here. Zoom in on that, about running it 15 to 20 minutes every 3 months and add fuel stabilizer. During the winter we drain this and I run everything dry as I do with all my power equipment. But of course the next thing you're probably going to want to see this thing run. Here's a little bit of the label from Harbor Freight. This thing is very heavy. It's not something you can just throw in your car and move around. You almost need a forklift or a ramp or something if you're going to put it in out of a trailer or a truck. When I bought this, it came in a crate. It was well packed. The only thing I had to put on was the handle and the wheels. It didn't take long at all. It was just difficult to handle because it's so heavy. Okay, I'm sure you're going to want to see this run, so I'll set the tripod up here. We'll run a few sticks through it. that kind of gives you an idea how it works. If the forks on branches are too wide, you're going to have to cut the side branches off. Otherwise, if you just give them a little push, they'll go right through. If there's no little side branches to catch, it'll just suck them right through. But I have got a huge pile to do here. As you can see, I've got my work cut out for me. This was all from yesterday, and it's going to take me a few hours to get through all of that stuff. Then I've got another tree to do. So that's a little bit of an overview of this Harbor Freight chipper. And yes, I know the picture's crooked. I just noticed the tripod sitting at an angle, so maybe you want to tilt your head a little bit. But otherwise, I'm Roger, and this is one of my little Harbor Freight tool reviews. Of course, we're always looking for subscribers, and if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate getting a thumbs up. Comments are always welcome, and I do read them. Otherwise, until the next video, thanks for watching.